Israeli police and Palestinians clashed outside Jerusalem's old city walls overnight into Sunday as tensions flared during the Muslim holiday of Ramadan, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appealed for calm on all sides. But the premier also warned that Israel remains prepared for all scenarios after dozens of rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel, prompting Israeli retaliatory air strikes. "36 rockets were launched overnight Friday," the Israeli army said, the most in a single night this year, after Gaza's Islamist rulers Hamas voiced support for the East Jerusalem protests. Netanyahu made the remarks after attending an emergency security meeting with senior officials, including Army Chief Aviv Kohavi, hours after Israeli warplanes struck Gaza early Saturday, and a second night with clashes between Palestinians and police in Jerusalem. "First of all, we want to ensure that law and order are respected.Now. We demand compliance with the law and I call for calm on all sides," Netanyahu said in a statement after the security talks. The clashes on Saturday evening were less severe than on previous days, according to an AFP journalist at the scene. Six Palestinians were injured, the Palestinian Red Crescent said. After Netanyahu's comments, the Israeli army said it intercepted another rocket launched from the Gaza Strip on Saturday evening. There have been nightly disturbances since the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan on April the 13th, amid Palestinian anger over police blocking off access to the promenade around the walls of the old city and a ban on gatherings. A series of videos posted online have also shown young Arabs attacking ultra-Orthodox Jews and Jewish extremists taking to the streets to bully Arabs. A march into the heart of Arab East Jerusalem by hundreds of supporters of far-right Jewish nationalist group Lehava added fuel to the fire. At least 125 people were injured Thursday when Palestinian protesters, angered by chants of death to Arabs from far-right Jewish demonstrators, clashed repeatedly with police. Skirmishes broke out again on Friday, when tens of thousands of Muslim worshippers left Jerusalem's revered Al-Aqsa mosque after night prayers, and found themselves confronted by dozens of armed police, some on horseback. Protesters hurled water bottles at police, who fired stun grenades to disperse them. The violence was the worst in years between Israeli police and Palestinians in the disputed Holy City. "We uphold the freedom of religion. For all residents and visitors of Jerusalem," Netanyahu said. Expressions of concern and calls for restraint have come from the European Union, United Nations and other countries. The United States, which has taken a more even-handed approach to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict since President Joe Biden took office in January, urged calm and unity. The rhetoric of extremist protesters chanting hateful and violent slogans must be firmly rejected, State Department spokesman Ned Price tweeted. Hundreds of Palestinians also rallied Friday at the Al-Aqsa checkpoint between Jerusalem and the occupied West Bank, police said. In the West Bank town of Bethlehem, Palestinians threw stones and petrol bombs towards the tomb of biblical matriarch Rachel, a shrine venerated by Jews and Muslims. Jerusalem Mayor Moshe Lion told public radio he was in talks with Palestinian community leaders in East Jerusalem to end this pointless violence, and that he had tried to cancel Thursday's far-right march. The Office of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas condemned the growing incitement by extremist far-right Israeli settler groups advocating for the killing of Arabs. Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi condemned racist attacks by Israelis against Palestinians in East Jerusalem and called for international action to protect them. Jerusalem is a red line and touching it is playing with fire, he warned. Israel's arch-enemy Iran also weighed in, with Foreign Ministry spokesman said.After praising Palestinian resistance and condemning what he called the Zionists' savage actions. UN Special Coordinator for Middle East Peace Tor Wensland urged all sides to exercise maximum restraint and avoid further escalation, adding the provocative acts across Jerusalem must cease. Hamas military wing, the Ezzedine Al-Qassam brigades, voiced support for the East Jerusalem protesters. The spark you light today will be the wick of the explosion, to come in the face of the enemy, it said in a statement. An alliance of Palestinian militant groups, including Hamas and its smaller ally Islamic Jihad, issued a statement warning we cannot remain silent in the face of the violence. Militants in Gaza fired a first salvo of 3 rockets at Israel shortly before midnight Friday, the military said. Israeli tanks shelled Gaza in response and launched airstrikes on the blockaded coastal enclave controlled by the Muslim militant group Hamas after more rockets were fired. Defense Minister Benny Gantz said the army was ready for the possibility of escalation. The Israeli army said the 36 rockets fired at Israel were intercepted or hit open ground. It said the air strikes, involving fighter jets and attack helicopters, struck Hamas military targets as well as underground infrastructure and rocket launchers. Concerning the Gaza Strip, I gave instructions that we be prepared for all scenarios, Netanyahu said.